Welcome to Bagelology.
My name is Amira Olian.
I'm Fadia Anani.
And we are the owners of this awesome bagel shop. So I was a nurse for 16 years. Fadia worked in higher education, and we both had the dream to own our own business one day. And Fadia actually approached me one day and asked if I would like to go into business with her. It had originally started off as a coffee shop, and then we evolved into learning how to do New York style bagels. So we traveled all the way to New York and New Jersey. We went there for 2 weeks and trained in a local bagel shop over there and learned the art of how to properly do a New York bagel, boiled and baked the proper way.
We make everything here from scratch, and we're so proud to serve the Frisco community. I would say the hardest part of this process was finding our location. It took us about 6 months to find the spot, but when we found it, we knew this was it.
So our inspiration really came from the New York bagel shop. It's more of a come in, grab your bagel sandwich and go. We do have a few tables and chairs here, but we really love the small boutique type bagel shop.
We do serve grilled sandwiches where you can get eggs, bacon, sausage, and then we also have the classic bagel on the spread. We also serve espresso-based coffee drinks, lemonades, iced teas, and we make everything here locally, and we actually get our coffee from a local roaster as well.
So our staffing is really based on our sales. During the week, it tends to be a little bit slower than on the weekend, so we tend to have like 2 to 3 in the front during the weekdays. On the weekends, this could be double. We might have like 5 in the front and 3 or 4 in the back. So it really just depends. Today, was a little bit busy, so we do have some extra staff today.
It's really hard to predict busy days. We anticipate some days we're going to be slower than others, but like today, very busy, so we end up stepping in and helping wherever we can.
But everyone is pretty much trained to kind of flow throughout the shop. We do have some that more, are trained to work the front, make the bagel sandwiches, make the coffee drinks, and then we have our staff in the back that's trained more on the grill and prep. And then we have our bakers. Yes, we do like to cross train, yes. We kind of put them through the same kind of training that we did in New York. They have to learn how to work the grill, they have to learn how to work in the front, customer service. They have to get their food handler certification for safety. So they all go through the same process, and then a little bit of diving into the baking. The baking is kind of our specialty zone, so it's only like 1 or 2 people that we actually kind of teach them our secret recipes and things like that. But other than that, they're pretty trained throughout the whole shop.
I think one of the biggest perks to working here is getting off early. We are open from 7 until 1:30, so people who work here kind of end up finishing at around 2, and then they have the rest of their day to spend with their family or friends and do whatever they want. We do have early hours, so this position, is ideal for people who are morning people.
Yeah, college students fit in real great, moms with kids at school fit in real great. So we haven't really had any issues with finding staff.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate in that department. Yes.
Yeah, we have great hours.
We start off by combining all our ingredients in our mixer. We cut out the dough once it's formed and let it sit for about 10 minutes or so to rest. And then we start slicing the dough and putting it through our bagel former. The bagel former shapes the bagels, so it's a standard shape. Sometimes, if need be, if we're doing a colored bagel, we might hand roll, but for the most part, we use our bagel forming machine. We let them rest outside to proof for a little bit and let them ferment for about 48 hours.
He will drop about 16 to 20 bagels in the kettle at a time, and he will let them boil until they float to the top. For our seeds, we seed on both sides. That's how we were taught in New York. Seed on both sides and pop them in the oven, and they will bake in the oven. They rotate on a rotating rack. They will bake for about 15 to 18 minutes.
So earlier you mentioned that a coffee shop was on that list of businesses you might want to try to open. But when I look around here, this is so much more involved. There's so much more heavy equipment and stoves and ovens and big mixers. It must have been a bit of an exercise you had to go through to convince yourselves that you were capable of opening and operating this kind of big of an operation.
Honestly, no.
No? Okay.
When we came across the idea, it was like a big light bulb. So this is what happened.
Okay.
We started off wanting to open up a coffee shop, and we started doing our research, looking at the community, seeing our competition, and we noticed there was quite a saturation in the market with coffee shops. So we wanted to do something to differentiate ourselves. So we explored, pastries, and we always went back to wanting to do our own thing from scratch. And then one day I was talking to my brother, and he mentioned the idea of bagels, and I was like, I gotta go. I gotta talk to Amira. This is it. And I spoke with her, and I knew that was the only factor. If Amira was on board, then this was it. And as soon as I spoke with her, she got so excited, and it was just like meant to be. We knew this was it, and we knew our next step was to find someone to help us learn how to make bagels, and we knew we wanted to go to New York to do that training because those are the best bagels, and everybody knows that.
That sounds like the harder row to kind of work, but
It was a lot of work,
very
yeah.
rewarding,
Yes.
and you can look here and say, this is what we've put together. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes we walk through the shop, we're like, we can't believe we did this.
Where
and
are we?
Where are we? Who is this? What's going on?
Yeah.
But it does feel very good knowing that we learned all this from scratch, and if we needed to, we could do it again, and we've learned so much along the way.
Yeah, and you're still friends.
Of course!
Yeah.
Oh, you are like my
My
sister.
So, as the show is called Supply Chaining on Tour, I have to ask a couple of questions about your supply chain. So, as we've been here, we've seen multiple vendors come in, make deliveries here into your refrigerators and freezers. Can you tell me a little bit about your supply chain, the different suppliers and vendors you use to operate your business?
Yeah, we have several. We have our main food supplier that we get our dairy, produce from, and then we have a bakery supplier, our seeds, flour, things like that. And then we have a specialty meat supplier, our coffee vendor, and then we have our linens, which you just saw come in. And
then we have a coffee vendor that locally roasts their coffee beans here, but then we also get our paper cups and our plastic cups and our syrups from a different specialty beverage vendor.
Got
So
it.
multiple vendors, yes.
And so, how do you keep track of all this inventory of your consumables and of your foods and everything? How do you keep up with all that?
A lot of it goes by sales. So after looking at sales,
Okay.
we were able to come up with a par of how much we use for the week.
Mhm.
So we place orders on Mondays and Thursdays, and we just go through our cooler or go through our freezer, look on our shelves, and kind of see what our base par is and how much we need to order for that week.
Okay. And is that done on a clipboard, or is there an app for
All
that?
on
or
our
something,
laptop.
or-
Yeah.
Everything is digital now.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
everything through a
Yeah.
website. We log in, and
Mhm.
every supplier has their own website, and we
Okay.
just go through, and we have lists of our frequently ordered items, so we just go through those and we order them. And we usually receive our shipments the next day.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So Amazon ain't got nothing on these guys, I guess.
We do use
I mean, we
Amazon
do, yeah,
sometimes.
sometimes.
Yes, we do. Amazon has saved us plenty of times, yes.